Good morning, Moonlight citizens. This is your man on the moon coming to you with yet another episode of Moonlight Kingdom Reviews. On this particular episode, we'll be covering the 2023 GJK released, GJK Productions Spider-Man fan film, Spider-Man Lotus. Right now, right here on Moonlight Kingdom Reviews in 3, 2, 1. Alright. Back here on MK Reviews, and we're covering Spider-Man Lotus. And as always, I'll be providing some background before diving into the actual review itself. And now, 3, 2, 1, let me go. On January 16, 2021, independent filmmaker Gavin J. Conop, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but let's say Conop, announced the development of an upcoming film based on the character Spider-Man. It was funded by fans through a campaign on Indiegogo, receiving $112,000. According to Conop, it was a dream of his to make a Spider-Man film. This one's based on The Kid Who Collects Spider-Man and Spider-Man Blue, a comic in which Spider-Man, even though he's married to Gwen, even though he's married to Mary Jane, still thinks back and is haunted by his memories of Gwen Stacy and still feels blue. Around about the time of the year he remembers she died. Anyway, later that same year, Conop announced the main cast of the film, as well as synopsis as its main theme. The same year, a teaser trailer was uploaded to his channel. The script was finished in May of 2021, with production beginning in June, with principal photography wrapping on August. Filming took place in New York City. In October of 2021, the product was recognized by John Watts. You may know him as the director of the MCU Spider-Man trilogy, Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. Yeah. Spider-Man Lotus was originally set to premiere in January of 2022, but was delayed. In October of 2022, the film's final trailer was released to YouTube. However, in July of 2023, a scene from Spider-Man Lotus was released on social media. Its runtime of 120 minutes was revealed and was set for a release date on YouTube, August 11. However, in June of 2022, some controversies happened. It was a controversy with the film. This movie did not have a smooth release date, let's say. The lead actor, Warden Wayne, some messages of his were leaked where he used racial, homophobic, and ableist slurs online. In light of those messages, he immediately issued an apology, which he brought up his conservative upbringing as reasons for saying the things that he said. And in a statement, he said he would hope and pray that people watching the film wouldn't judge it based on his past and instead take it for what it is, a film about redemption and coming out of the darkness. Later that same day, the script for the movie was leaked. Not good. Yeah, it's not good to have your superhero movie, where the troubled lead come out the same year as another superhero movie with a troubled lead. Anyway, soon after, similar messages were revealed in which the director, Conop, used racist and ableist slurs. Well, at least he didn't have homophobic slurs on top of that. He responded to this by releasing a YouTube video entitled Addressing Everything, in which he claimed that some of the leaked messages were fake, while taking accountability for others, claiming that they were posted when he was a teenager, and promising that he no longer used such words. Yeah, apologize for the fact that you used those words, not for the fact of what you said. He basically said, well, I don't use those words anymore. You didn't say, I'm sorry I said what I said. I don't use those words anymore. Not, I don't think like that anymore, or I don't believe that anymore. Just, I don't use those words anymore. Really? That's your apology. Okay, whatever. Oh man, this is good. Initially set for a 22 release, but canceled due to controversy surrounding. This is from Game Rant, surrounding the lead. Fast forward to 23. In 2023, the lead actor confirmed that despite the backlash, the movie was still scheduled for release. Whew. Hell. In response to these accusations, they uploaded an extensive video offering an apology. Yeah, I already covered that part. Anywho, yeah. He explained that the messages in question date back to his high school years, to which he participated in online communities where he was exposed to and adopted these offensive behaviors. Furthermore, he contended that certain screenshots were potentially falsified. Yeah, I remember, I covered that part. The movie faced another setback when the entire VFX team resigned, citing a highly toxic work environment. One of the VFX artists who had been contributing to the film posted a YouTube video expressing shock at witnessing the behaviors of Wayne and Connor while on set. According to the artist, the film took an unexpected direction that contradicted the principles Spider-Man typically embodies. Yeah, so you play Spider-Man on screen, but behind the scenes don't really live up to the mantle of one with such a role would. ins- One you think someone playing Spider-Man would at the very least embodies some of the similarities of that character, especially when it comes to behavior and how you treat other people. But hey, it's just an actor. This outcome was truly disheartening, especially considering the immense effort invested by the VFX team, evident in the remarkable swinging scenes highlighted in the trailer. Yeah, this is very much like The Flash. Troubled lead, VFX troubled, release dates being pushed back. This is very much the YouTube version of The Flash when you think about it. This is a fan film version of like The Flash in terms of all its controversies. Granted, Wayne never broke into anybody's house or threatened to off people, but hey, you know, still bad. He still said some bad things. But anyway, that's the background of the movie. The movie got its release date. It came out, I saw it, and now you're going to know what I thought about it. Here is the review for Spider-Man Lotus in T minus 3, 2, 1. Alright, right off the bat, this is a fan film, so I can't really hold it to the same standards as I would a regular film. Or at least I would say that if the movie wasn't 2 hours long. So, yeah, it's not a short film, so I can totally hold it to some film standards because, well, it had a budget, it had a production crew, VFX team, cast, clothes, all that. So, yeah, I'll hold it to some film standards. But right off the bat, this is not a Spider-Man story. This is a Peter Parker story, focusing on how being Spider-Man affects not just his life, but the lives of those he holds dear. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 explored this concept really well, as it showed how being Spider-Man wreaked havoc on Peter, not just Peter's, life, his school life and his work life, but also his personal relationships with Harry Osborn and Mary Jane. Yeah, it was interesting to see how a fan, how another movie would tackle this idea nowadays, especially when it's the focus of the whole movie. The movies, keep in mind, this isn't gonna be like a typical review. We'll be in some aspects, but like, yeah, the movie score is kind of a mixture between the Raimi movies done by Danny Elfman and James Horner's theme from the first Amazing Spider-Man film in 2011. So yeah, there's that. I'll give it props for that. It's good. Rather than picking one lane and sticking to it, it mixes both and makes a whole new sound in doing so. Plus, that's kind of the film. Instead of just picking one, it's like, oh, we're gonna be going off the amazing movies solely or just the Raimi films. It kind of mixes both. It doesn't really mash with the MCU Spider-Man in any ways, but yeah, I'll explain that later. Diving into the film, it takes 1 minute 30 for us to see Spider-Man, and the CGI in this film when we do see him is surprisingly good. At times, it's something straight out of Spider-Man on PS4, particularly in the scenes where he's in full suit. Oh, he's always in the suit when the CGI's on. He's in the suit, he's on top of the Brooklyn Bridge, and like the rain's coming down, and the lightning is striking. You can see like the flashing on the suit. The suit's like really shiny, but like I mean, yeah, it's like a video game. It's like a video game cutscene, and that's good because normally when you say like, "Oh, it looks like a video game cutscene," it looks like this character is completely CG and he looks fake as hell, while everything around him looks real. Well, in this shot, the whole thing looks like a video game cutscene, and it's a really well done PS4, video game cutscene. So it's good. I'll give props for that. The film is adapting, or to be more exact, taking inspiration from the aftermath of the death of Gwen Stacy. That's basically what's happening here. That's the premise of the movie. It's really sticking to the comics in some places, like in Peter's clothes. When he meets MJ, Gwen, and Harry outside this movie theater, he's got like this yellow jacket like he did in the comics. I mean, like, dude, I mean, it's 2020. Well, in the time this movie was filmed, 2021, I think. Why are you wearing that? Why are you wearing a bright yellow jacket in New York modern day? It made sense in like the 80s. We were coming off disco and everybody was bright and colorful. We can get that, but like, dude, what are you doing, man? Why are you? Whatever. Yeah, it also takes bits and pieces from the live action films of like when Harry falling into a downward spiral after the death of his father, like in TASM 2. And it also takes story from the comic where Harry gets hooked on drugs after his dad's death. They don't explicitly say it's drugs, we just see pill bottles. So is he hooked on like pain meds, oxycodone? I don't know. He's hooked on something. That's all we know. And Peter decides to stop being Spider-Man after Gwen's death because he feels responsible for it, like after the events of Amazing Spider-Man 2. So once the opening credits end, really good opening credits with like the comic book style graphics going on, we hear this new exposition talking of how Osborn's body has been found. Spider-Man's the suspect after being involved of the deaths of Captain Stacy, Gwen Stacy, now Norman Osborn. It looks like J. Jonah was right all along. And this is the part that made me laugh. Peter Parker hasn't been seen in a while. We think he may be in hiding because like he too like is afraid of the wall crawler. It's like, oh, okay. I don't know why you think that, but like, okay, sure. Moving on. There's a scene where Peter tells off Mary Jane about how she doesn't really care about she doesn't really care about anything, and all she ever cares about like having a good time. And it's kind of like what happened in the comics when Peter did MJ went to see Peter and Peter was in like no mood to see her. He got mad and he yelled at her. Thing is, in the comics, she actually like told him off. She's like, after he finished yelling, he was like, go on, get out of here. I wouldn't want to ruin your fun. She like told him off, and she's like, look, man. I don't remember what she said, but she basically said like, look here, man. Like, you think I don't care, but I do. Alright, I get that you're mad right now, but don't be taking it out on me. Like, you get this through your head. She was my friend too. All right. Like, just she actually stands up for herself. Unlike here, where she just takes the verbal abuse and then leaves before turning back to give Peter a letter that's addressed to Spider-Man. Well, it's supposed to be addressed to Spider-Man, but yeah. We then cut, after this scene, we cut to Peter finding Harry passed out on the couch with like pills spilled on the ground, and the guy they cast to play Harry was well cast. I mean, if they wanted him to look like some like junkie, then yeah, I'm not dissing this dude. He's a pretty good looking dude, but they painted his face, and the guy looks like he's on crack or something. He looks rough, man. Damn, we want him to look like an addict. It doesn't take much to convince us that this dude is on something. And well, throughout this film, particularly like some of the earlier scenes, I've never shipped two characters before. I mean, no, I've never shipped two male characters before, but honestly, in this universe, looking at like the acting between them, the chemistry they got, and like some of the looks they give each other, I may just be extrapolating here or pulling things out of air, but if I had to ship two people, then in this universe, in this Spider-Man universe, I would ship Harry and Peter, which is weird because the movie seems to trying to be shipping Harry and MJ, which kind of did happen in the comics and it did happen in this Raimi movies a bit. But like, if just thinking, if you're coming off Gwen, once you finally get over it, Harry's right there, man. He needs you. He needs his pal, Pete. Go be a real friend. Be be a bro. Whatever. Oh, this movie's making me laugh, and it's not even funny. Damn. This film in some places feels more like Amazing Spider-Man 2.1 than it does anything else. Even as a scene where Peter watches a video that left for him, and it encourages him to become Spider-Man, like put the suit back on again, just like Andrew Garfield did in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Not to like go out and stop crime, but to visit a sick kid, kind of like the one episode of the animated series where he visited that kid and she kind of like got him out of the funk. Like he even told her his origin story, like just like this one. So yeah. It isn't until 41 minutes in that we see some Spidey action again after, that first moment where we see him battle the Shocker. And the Shocker in this movie has a pretty solid costume for a fan film. I'm gonna give props. The costumes in this movie are really good, especially Green Goblin. Like, the Shocker looks like he's wearing part of a Sin Cara mask because it has, like, the little slits on the mouthpiece. But yeah, I don't remember Sin Cara having that shade, so, like, whatever. He was alright. He was alright. It isn't until we see 41 minutes that we see some Spidey action again when we see him flashback to a fight that he had with Green Goblin after Gwen's death. The movie cuts to black a lot, which more than anything shows they didn't quite know how to transition from one scene to the next. Makes sense. This is a fan film, not a multi-billion-dollar blockbuster with a whole editing team or whatever. But like, they just cut to black, move to the next scene, because we don't know how to smoothly transition from man visiting his friend's grave to him finding his friend passed out next to a bottle of pills. Yeah, the movie isn't only Peter though. It does take time to show Harry dealing with some stuff, like him walking through the city as sad music plays, sitting on the train while sad music plays, going to his father's grave, and this this is kind of funny. It's kind of funny because like he's at his it's not supposed to be funny, but it is kind of funny because the guy, well, there's this moment when he's at his dad's grave and he's remembering all the horrible things his dad said to him over the years, but it's all delivered in this monotonous tone. You'd swear it was delivered by an AI, not a person. Like, you will never be an Osborn. You crying again? You have to be strong. Like, such a disappointment. Like, just, and it was so weird because I'm sitting there thinking, like, this dude, these people are supposed to be like adults or at the very least, like college students. And there's a memory where he was like, are you crying again? Either this dude, well, there was a moment when Norma was still alive, like, I don't know, a year ago or so, where he like, made him, I think his dad made him cry. He's like, what, you're crying again? Like, just, or he's flashing back to his childhood or something. I don't know. This scene is funny, and it's not supposed to be funny. But hot damn, dude. Anyway, so yeah, uh, they crib from Iron Man 3 also. There's a scene where the kid asks Spidey, like the Make-A-Wish kid he's gonna visit, he asks him, what happened to the girl on the bridge? And he freezes up and he like thinks of Gwen. He freezes up just like Tony did in Iron Man 3 when the kid was like, how did you get out of the wormhole? And that just that had me cracking up. So many things had me cracking up, man. Man. So Peter tells his origin to the kid, and it's all edited and shown in such a easy. I was half expecting. You know what? It's told in such a way that I was half expecting the word loading to appear at the corner of the screen. It feels like it feels like I'm looking at a loading screen for a video game. That's what it feels like when he's like recapping these moments. I'm guessing they couldn't afford to like reshoot these shots, but they could afford to have someone paint them out and then view them the still images as videos. So like yeah, I was half expecting a little loading circle at the screen with the way it was styled, but yeah. Oh, also, I was watching more. So like, wait a minute. I just realized something. While I was watching the movie, I learned for the first time Uncle Ben's middle name. I didn't know. Granted, I didn't know Peter's middle name was Peter. His name was Peter B. Parker until I saw Into the Spider-Verse movie. But until I saw Spider-Man Lotus, I didn't know Uncle Ben's middle name is Franklin. Dude's whole name is Benjamin Franklin Parker. Come on, Stan. What the hell, man? Ben Franklin? What the? What the heck? What the heck, Stan? What? Jeez, dude, I thought your whole shtick was that people's names had to be like, alliteration. Peter Parker, Happy Hogan, Dum Dum Dugan. And then when it comes to naming Ben, it's Ben Franklin, man? Couldn't he be like Ben Williams so he could be Ben Bill or some shit? Like, come on, Stan. Moving on. After Peter sees the Make-A-Wish kid, rediscovers what being a hero means, and swings off after saying, hey, I'll always be around the neighborhood. As he's swinging off, the screen slowly fades to black, and we hear the kid's heart monitor. And before the screen goes completely black, we hear the heart monitor cut out. It just left me wondering more than anything, did the kid just die? Like, that's never followed up on. We don't get any reassurance because we hear like, dude, 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 and then nothing. Did the kid just die? Did he see Spider-Man have the greatest day of his life and just die? It was very unclear. But afterwards, the Flash Thompson is there. He's dating Liz. Um, and everything. Okay, Flash is there and he's talking to Mary Jane and he's like, hey, I used to beat Peter up back in the day, but I guess, well, it was because I was envious of him. Like, no, you weren't. Stop lying, dude. Nope. There's no freaking way Flash Thompson in any iteration beat up Peter Parker because he was envious of him. Just no, get that out of your head. Just no, no. Now you're just reaching, man. This is some. Now you just try to stretch the runtime more than anything. You could cut this out and have the movie clock in at an hour and I don't know, an hour and 10. Not an hour and 10. What's this? Hour and 50 or something. We cut this part out entirely. Um. Anyway, but moving on. There's a going away. They're gonna have a going away party for Flash. He's on his way to the military. Because Flash in the comics, he joins the military. He gets hurt, and when he comes back, he becomes Spider Venom. He becomes Venom. He becomes a new Venom, and like a more militarized Venom. Yeah. So yeah, moving on from that, the film ends with Peter. So the Harry subplot does wrap up sort of when Mary Jane picks him up. You know, it she picks him up. They sit in the car and they talk and they talk and they talk. And I mentioned that the movie was like seemingly trying to ship them together. I don't think they kiss. No, they don't kiss. But like she does bring him back to his senses. Basically, that's all it takes, ladies and gentlemen. If you see your friend is addicted to pills and is slowly turning into a junkie and is really sad, you just need to talk him out of it. All he needs is a good talking to from a girl he was feeling, and it's all good. Yeah. The film ends with Peter swinging through the city in the day, responding to some event instead of joining his friends at Flash's going away party. He decides to respond to the event once it's like some crime that's happening far off in the distance. That iconic running down the alleyway, open the shirt to reveal the logo, and he swings off, and the CGI in this is really good, and as he's swinging through town, he starts swinging in slow motion and even shoots off a web right into the camera, straight out of the ending of Amazing Spider-Man 1. Credits roll, thanks to the creators of Spider-Man, all living and long gone, That's that. That was Spider-Man Lotus, and overall I give it a 6 out of 10. I liked it, but I have no desire to watch it again. Maybe to laugh at a few things and, chat about it with some friends. But other than that, I liked it, but I have no desire to watch it again. It's a solid 6 out of 10. Yeah, I like the music. The action was, I don't know, it was alright. There are B movies better than that. I give it a 6 thrips out of 10. The idea was executed as good as it could have been. And there are moments, though there are moments where you can see like, oh, yeah, this is very much a fan film. It's very much a couple of guys, handheld cameras. That's not, this is some big studio thing, and I don't expect it to be, but yeah, there are better fan films out there. I'll say that much, but this was okay. Controversies and faults aside, when I was watching the film, I didn't think at any point about, the dude, like the racist stuff the dude said. Although it's probably a good thing that, there was only white people he acted alongside against, so I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Screw that. I'm just playing. Get all that. This has been Moonlight Kingdom Reviews of Spider-Man Lotus. As always, people, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I don't really have anything to say except great power, great responsibility, and all that. Excelsior!
Yeah. Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off as friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone.